What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to give you guys some Atlanta Falcons news. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So today in Atlanta Falcons news, the Atlanta Falcons have met with cornerback Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold actually played his college ball at the University of Alabama. Terrion Arnold goes about 6 feet, 190 pounds. And I definitely think that he could be a player that the Falcons may target in this upcoming draft. Terrion Arnold is one of those guys that's one of the top corners in this upcoming draft. He's a guy who's a really good cornerback. As we know, Nick Saban, the Alabama coach, is a really good secondaries coach. He specializes in corners and safeties and things of that nature. And we know over his years at Alabama that he's produced some really good cornerbacks and some really good guys in the secondary. Currently on our Atlanta Falcons team, DeMarco Hellams is one of those guys that played under Nick Saban. And we know that Nick Saban is one of those guys that's also a defensive specialist. So I definitely think that Terrion Arnold could be one of those players that the Falcons may go after in the first or second round in this upcoming draft. I wouldn't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons drafted Terrion Arnold with that first pick in the draft, being that A.J. Terrell currently is on the last year of his deal. And if the Falcons decide to move on and they decide not to pay A.J. Terrell, Terrion Arnold could be one of those guys that learns under A.J. Terrell for one season, and they possibly can figure out if Terrion Arnold can be that #1 cornerback this upcoming season, how well he plays. And if he shows the Atlanta Falcons that he is one of those guys that could be a #1 corner, he could be the guy that actually replaces A.J. Terrell. Hopefully the Falcons find a way to pay A.J. Terrell, but I definitely could see Terrion Arnold being one of those guys because he's a cornerback that can play both man and zone corner. He is one of those guys that has quick hips, moves really fluently. Is a guy that attacks the football. Had 5 interceptions last year for the Crimson Tide. And he is one of those cornerbacks that tackles really well and run support. And you guys know that I'm huge on physicality at that cornerback position, being able to cover, but also being able to tackle in space and also being able to come up and run support. And that's something that Terrion Arnold does very well. Is he's fearless in coming downhill. He's fearless in getting after opposing offensive players. And if you go look at his film, he made a lot of tackles for loss with the Alabama Crimson Tide last year, and over his the last 2 years that he started at Alabama. But he is also one of those guys that plays the football really well at the point of attack. He had a ton of pass breakups with Alabama last year. And he's also one of those guys, if he gets the ball in his hands, he's really good at possibly taking the ball to the house. He did also return kicks at times and return punts and things of that nature at Alabama. So he is one of those guys that's also a threat on special teams if the Falcons decided to use him in returning kickoff returns. He is one of those guys that has that ability, but I definitely think that he could be a player that the Falcons strongly consider. I really feel like at this point, with these top 30 meetings and things of that nature, I really feel like the Falcons are doing their due diligence. If it were me, I still would go with a defensive end or outside linebacker or edge rusher with the first round pick. But I could see the Falcons possibly going after Terrion Arnold, being that he could be that insurance policy if they decide that after this season they want to move on from A.J. Terrell. He could be a guy that they decide to make that #1 corner if he proves that he has the ability to be that top corner, or he could possibly be that #2 cornerback solidified behind A.J. Terrell, because we know for the last couple seasons since A.J. Terrell's been on the Atlanta Falcons. We haven't been able to find that running mate for AJ Terrell. We haven't been able to find that other guy outside opposite of AJ Terrell. We've had guys like Fabian Moreau that we tried to pair with AJ Terrell. We had guys like Jeff Okudah last season that we attempted to pair with AJ Terrell, and none of those guys really panned out, to be honest. So they could be looking to possibly pair those two together to have two really good corners. We know also that Raheem Morris is a defensive-minded coach, and he basically used to play safety when he was in college at Hofstra University. So we know that he's also a specialist when it comes to the secondary and, the cornerback position. And Jimmy Lake also has a lot of background in the secondary. And we also have Jerry Gray, who is a former All-Pro or a Pro Bowler in the NFL when it came to playing that cornerback position. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Terrion Arnold. Do you think he possibly could be a player that the Falcons may draft in this upcoming NFL draft? With that being said, this being your boy Jew. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.